Part two, and what I feel has, and of course Catherine's influence, that goes without saying. I will talk about Catherine later on. Catherine's influence, but also one of those moments, one of those landmarks, one of those milestones, which I feel have helped me to soften up and let go of the resentment toward him, was also back. That's what I was trying to say on one of my messages, but it got kind of weird and mixed up between the health issue, between La Traviata, and between talking about forgiveness. It kind of got a little funky and kind of goofy. So let me take two. Let me try to do this again. Where God was dealing with me to go the next step in releasing the anger toward this Georgia Germont, because it was a ugly situation, because he also, to speak a kind word toward him where love sees the best, also he had gone through stuff which affected the way that he had seen things and hurt people. Like Joyce Meyer says, hurt people hurt people. So it's just that, and I do have understanding about things that he had gone through. It just went too far when he had broken us all up. But I felt that God was dealing with me back in 2011 when it was during my 50th birthday. And also God was dealing with me to go the next step, to see him as more being human, to see him not as the bad guy, not as the villain, but to see him as being human, that a man that had stuff, and I had stuff, he had stuff, and it just kind of clashed and all just came together. And then when that had happened, Stacy, the lady at the Disney booth in South Coast Plaza, gave me 2 tickets for the World of Color. And at that time I was not able to go to Disneyland. And I was not able, because it was just when I had lost Parodies and started working at McDonald's. And then she says, "You didn't go to Disneyland to see World of Color? That's unacceptable." And then she was great. She says, "I can give you 2 tickets." And then also she gave me 2 tickets to see World of Color when it had just opened, and also a Disney cast member who's one of my customers. Also on the drive-through, everything comes in sets of 3s. On the drive-through, she had given me Disneyland tickets, a Disneyland ticket. So I gave her a Big Mac, sold her a Big Mac. She gave me the Disneyland tickets. And then everything, it was one of the most memorable, one of the most wonderful Disneyland trips that I had. And I remember when she had given me the paper to be able to show to the front gate to be able to get a ticket. And I remember exactly where I was. I remember that it was exactly about a month before, approximately at the end of October before, in 2011. My birthday's November 18th. And I remember, and then I remember when I was in front of a Sephora. Well, I'm always in front of a Sephora. But right in front of the entrance of South Coast Plaza, I'm always in front of a Sephora. So what's new? And I remember as I was looking at that, and I was really happy and everything, where I felt that God was saying, now see him as, it was, God blessed me and did me a favor there. So see him as being human, see with issues, with stuff that he had gone through, as opposed to being the bad guy, as opposed to being the villain. And then, and I remember I was hearing in my spirit that God was saying, he's not the villain. And I was kind of jokingly saying, oh, so he's not Darth Vader? That's a Star Wars joke. He's not Darth Vader, and he's not my father. That's a Star Wars joke, folks. A little disclaimer there. Now, and then also everyone was so wonderful, and God had blessed me because my mom let me use her regular camera. At that time, Marge had blessed me with a tip, but also she blessed me so that I would be able to have lunch and dinner in Disneyland. As my late mom would say, we don't want the kid to go hungry. And then also the Disney lady, everything comes in sets of 3. Every one of my best trips. Everything was so wonderful. Everyone was so good to me. And now a little disclaimer here, and I got to take a break. That the old, someone says you can't bargain with God. I'm getting there. You can't bargain with God. No, that's true. I would have had to let that go and obey God even if I never got to go to Disneyland again. oh, how would I survive? But at the same time, it's a good motivation, yes, to do it unconditionally. But when God blesses you with that makes you reconsider what you're so upset. This is a Stefkin joke. What you're so upset and what you're so angry about. It's like I turn situations loose as far as him. I get to go to, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. It's, yes, unconditionally, but it's also good motivation. It's like, oh, yes, Lord, you want me to turn such and such loose? Oh, yes, we got to obey God. Thy will be done. And so like I had said, unconditionally, yes, but also it was a good motivation. And it was one of the best trips I had had. And then also that started the Disneyland decade. Up from my 50th birthday, when it was approximately November, it was 3 trips. November, December, everything comes in sets. I said that. And then it was the Disney, what I call the Disney decade, where my mom was sending me constantly to Disneyland and then staying at the Paradise Pier and at the original Disneyland Hotel, all up to 2 weeks before the COVID shutdown, where I had spent the night at the original Disneyland Hotel in my favorite tower here. So, like I had said, was 2 takeaways, and I got to take a break, was turning it loose, Mom takes over. 2 can't drive the steering wheel. Based on Mickey and the Sorcerer's Apprentice from Fantasia 2000. Fantasia, the original. And it was also in Fantasia 2000. And then also seeing him as being more human and getting to go to Disneyland. No, you can't bargain with God, but God bless me, I got the better end of the deal. And we'll take a break with that. Okay, God bless you.